I'm Sean Casemore. Thanks again for joining me in another one of my empowerment series videos aimed at helping you empower your team and ultimately empower your business to perform. You know, I realized recently in doing a talk for a small group at an organization that something that I failed to ever speak of is the fact that you can't empower a team if you don't empower the individuals on the team. Now that may seem like a counterintuitive statement, but hear me out. What I'm really talking about is self-empowerment. You see, each and every individual has a different level of resolve and resilience that will ultimately let them become empowered. Take, for example, one of your employees who seems to like to tackle everything. They like to go get them. They get out there, they take on projects, they run ahead of the team, they like to take charge. That person probably has a lot of confidence and therefore a lot of resolve. Now, set aside for a second, they may be making mistakes in getting out there early, but at least they're out there. Flip that around, you've probably got some employees who are maybe not so confident, maybe a little bit shy, reserved. Their resolve might seem like it's lower than some of your other employees, and in reality, it probably is. You see, our resolve is built over time. And so what we need to do in order to empower our team is recognize that what we're really doing is empowering each and every person that's on that team. So we need to work on a one-on-one basis in many cases, in addition to working with the team, in order to help build this resolve and this confidence that our people have. Now that resolve, achieving that, building that in our people is fairly simple. Start off with goal setting, right? In order to build resolve, right, which is the idea of creating or coming up with the solution to overcome a difficult situation, what we need to do is help our people set goals. Help them set goals at work. You can use your annual, and hopefully it's not annual, but if you have an annual performance appraisal process, you can use this time. My preference is to do this quarterly. Sit down with your employees and set some goals between the two of you. So this isn't you telling them goals. This is you saying to them, hey, question for you. Based on some stuff you're working on, some projects coming down the pipeline, what's realistic that we can achieve here? Let's set some goals together. Now, I'm not going to spend time because I spoke about it previously, how to set those goals, but let's just say they should be specific. The employee is going to achieve X, Y, Z by a specific date. It's got to be something they commit to and they believe is reasonably achievable. Once you've set those goals, you want to set up some time to work with the employee. Again, this is individual. Some employees will need you to check in with them once a week. They'll need you to sit down with them and spend time going through the goals and help them get unstuck. Other employees won't want to talk to you at all. They'll run down the road working on these goals. Maybe wrong, maybe right, but regardless, they won't see that they need your help. Some of these folks will actually need your help. So once you set these goals, the next major step, the key, if you will, is to help your people recognize on an individual basis what's possible. You need to broaden their perspective. That is, the person who is maybe the go-getter needs to realize that by being the go-getter, being first, isn't always the best because maybe they're making mistakes. The person who's not so confident, doesn't want to be the first or doesn't want to go after things so assertively, maybe needs to recognize that a little bit of speed, right, in their pace of work would be a good thing. Now, how do you broaden their perspective? You compare them to other people. Now, let me say this, let me define this for you. I don't mean say, hey, John did it this way, you should do it that way. I mean, you help them work with other people, and through that working with other people, they will recognize other people's style and pace and confidence, and that in turn will build their confidence. Here's an example of this. I had somebody working with me who was on my team, and a couple things they weren't really strong at, and I, of course, had somebody who was pretty strong. Had been around a while, a lot of experience. So rather than me sit down and tell this newer employee what they should and shouldn't be doing, I said, you know what, I know you had the original training, and I know you're on your own now, but it seems to me we've talked about a few different things. It might be good to spend some time with Bob, because Bob's got a lot of experience. And even though you can go through the steps here, there's maybe a few secrets, a few tips Bob can share with you. Now, of course, I've set up Bob in advance of this to be willing to do this. And by that employee sitting with Bob, not only do they learn a little bit more, but they gain a broader perspective about what's possible. You see, I've always said as a leader, you can't tell people anything. They have to realize it on their own. And in essence, by doing so, you're helping build their resolve. So we've got some goals set. We've helped each individual on the team build that resolve by broadening their perspective and dealing with other people. The last thing that needs to happen is that employees need to reward themselves. I'll say that again. I'm not talking about you rewarding them. employees need to learn to reward themselves. So if they achieve a project or a milestone on a project, or they get to a certain point where they're pretty proud of themselves, what's the reward they're going to give themselves? Is it time at the water cooler? Is it to take a walk outside? Is it a special cup of coffee? What is it? You know, your employees have to set up rewards themselves to motivate themselves to achieve the goals that they work with you on setting. This isn't all about the leader rewarding, although that's obviously a component. But in this case, what we're talking about is dealing on a one-on-one basis to build self-empowerment. So let me wrap up by saying this. If you want to empower your team, and I assume because you're listening to this, that's your goal, you need to recognize that every person on that team is an individual, and therefore, to build up the team, I need to work on an individual basis, and I need to empower each and every person on that team. I need to build their resolve. I need to build their confidence, and in turn, by doing so, I'll build their resilience. So take some time, go back through these 3 steps, identify your people that need the most work, the people you should spend the most time with. My guess is it's maybe 2 or 3 people, and try out some of these scenarios with them to see how it goes. Then share those results with others as you formulate a plan to work with everyone and empower them on an individual basis. I hope you've enjoyed this video. For more videos and tips on how to empower your team, make sure you check out my YouTube channel. Just search Case Moore & Co. and you'll find me there. And until next time, have a great week, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Take care.